Hello everyone, we are learning the experiments conducted by various scientists to prove genetic nature of DNA. In today's session, I will prove what exactly transforming principle is. In earlier session, I already explained you Griffith's experiment on Streptococcus pneumoniae, and he showed transformation of R bacteria into smooth bacteria. But he was not knowing which chemical is responsible for this transformation. So followers of Griffith, Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy, these are the three persons who were following Griffith. They cultured S bacteria. S means smooth, smooth means capsulated, and they are pathogenic, causing pneumonia. So they cultured S type bacteria on a larger scale, and they allowed ultracentrifugation of this culture medium. There's a machine called centrifugation machine. When we put cellular mixture in it will do sedimentation. It will separate the cellular components. So they did ultracentrifugation of S bacteria culture medium. They filtered the sample collected. They divided samples into 4 test tubes. They marked as 1, 2, 3 and 4. In first test tube, these all are nothing but biochemicals extracted from the ultracentrifugation technique. And who subjected for ultracentrifugation? Streptococcus pneumoniae having capsule. In first test tube, they added enzyme which can digest proteins. So they added protease. In second test tube, they added RNA digesting enzyme RNase. In third test tube, they added DNA digesting enzyme DNase. And fourth test tube, they kept as it is without adding any enzymes. I'll repeat again. Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy cultured S bacteria, allowed ultracentrifugation, collected the biochemicals. They divided these extracted biochemicals in 4 test tubes. In each test tube, they have added different enzymes. First test tube added with protease. Second test tube added with RNase. Third test tube added with DNase. And fourth test tube without any enzymes. After some days, they took 4 test tubes in which they cultured R bacteria. So 4 test tubes containing R bacteria now, which are rough, without capsule, and they are non-pathogenic. In first culture of R bacteria, they added the biochemicals present in first test tube where proteins are digested, contain only DNA and RNA. Second test tube of culture of R bacteria, in which they added second test tube samples where RNA get digested, present only DNA and proteins. Third test tube of R bacteria, in which they added third biochemical treated with DNase. In that only proteins and RNAs are present. DNA was not there, it is digested. And fourth culture of R bacteria, in which they added the biochemical sample without any enzymes, means it contained proteins, DNA and RNA. Clear? And they saw these 4 culture mediums of R bacteria. After few days, they saw first test tube, R got transformed into S. Second test tube also same result, R got transformed into S, means rough bacteria becomes smooth. Third test tube, there was no transformation, and fourth test tube, there was transformation. So they analyzed. First test tube means protein was not there, okay, but still there is a transformation occurred. So protein is not a transforming principle. Second, there was transformation where RNA was not there. So even RNA is not a transforming principle. Third test tube, no transformation was there. R bacteria remained R. So which biochemical was not there? DNA. Because DNA digested by DNAs. So who is responsible for transformation in first two? Definitely a DNA molecule. Third test tube, no DNA is found, but it contains RNA as well as proteins, and there is no transformation. So they decided that definitely the transforming principle is DNA molecule. And fourth test tube, transformation was at the higher rate, which contain no enzymes. At optimum temperature, they are responsible for conversion of all R bacteria into smooth. So out of 4 test tubes, 3 got transformed S bacteria. And in 1 test tube, no transformation, and the biochemical which was missing there is DNA. Thus, Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy concluded that it is the DNA molecule who is transforming principle causing transformation of rough bacteria into smooth, non-pathogenic into pathogenic, non-virulent into virulent. With this, I will conclude second experiment to prove genetic nature of DNA. I am concluding this session with the help of transduction experiment conducted by Alfred Hershey and Martha Chess in 1952, utilizing E. coli as a host and infecting agent as virus bacteriophage. The name of the experiment is transduction experiment. To prove genetic nature of DNA, it is conducted by Alfred Hershey, please remember these names, and Martha Chess. The year 1952. Here, before experiment, remember that bacteriophage is the virus which comes in contact with the bacteria, injects the genetic material DNA. After receiving viral DNA, bacteria is misleaded. Bacteria will think that it is its own DNA molecule. So, viral DNA inside the bacteria start regulating all the activities. Using bacterial raw material, it will produce the more replicas, and all these replicas are viral replicas. Thus, host bacteria allow multiplication of viral DNA. Thus, virus will complete its life cycle by producing more and more copies within the host body. So, same base they took for their experiment. They took T4 bacteriophage. They cultured them in the laboratory. This is structure of T4 bacteriophage. It has polyhedral head having a collar through which this is contractile, a central core with the sheath. It has hexagonal basal plate producing tail fibers, total 6 in number, and it encloses DNA as its genetic material. This is outer covering capsid. So they separated these E. coli as 2 samples. So consider this is another bacteriophage having head, tail. It is basal plate with tail fibers. This is contractile tail sheath enclosing the DNA protected by capsid. So what Hershey and Chase did, they added 32P in this culture. It is radioactive phosphorus. After adding this radioactive phosphorus, these phosphate molecules start attaching with the DNA. So, viral DNA becomes radioactive in this culture medium. While here, in another culture medium, they added (35S). This is radioactive sulfur. Now this radioactive sulfur become a part of capsid, right? So in this culture medium, the capsid becomes radioactive, and here in the first culture medium, DNA becomes radioactive because protein does not contain sulfur. The protein does not contain phosphorus, and here DNA does not contain sulfur. So after adding respective nucleotide phosphorus, nucleotide sulfur, they start entangling with the respective molecules. So 32P attached to the DNA, and here 35S attached to capsid. After receiving radioactivity, they allowed these bacteriophages to attach to E. coli. So they took E. coli medium and allowed them to inject their genetic material. So here inside the E. coli, their own genome is present. This is nucleoid, incipient nucleus. In the first radioactive phosphorus, which is with DNA, so this DNA with 32P entered in E. coli and start attaching with its nucleotide, while here normal DNA entered without radioactivity, no radioactivity. Okay, and after injecting, the radioactive capsid remain outside. Okay, DNA is injected. Okay, so this is with 35S. Let me explain you here. Hershey and Chase, they cultured bacteriophage in two different culture medium. One culture medium contained 32P, radioactive phosphorus, which attaches to DNA of the virus. In another culture, they added radioactive 35S, that is radioactive sulfur, which attaches to the capsid of the virus. When the first bacteriophage having radioactive DNA allowed to attach with the host E. coli, they injected radioactive DNA in it. While in second culture, the virus with radioactive capsid injected its non-radioactive DNA in E. coli, right? So now after some days, I already told you, bacterial cell after receiving DNA, it provides the space for multiplication of viral DNA. So here whatever DNA are multiplied, they received a small piece of radioactive phosphorus. While here, as DNA is non-radioactive, the DNA which are replicated here, they are without radioactivity, right? Both the culture media are subjected for blending initially with the help of blender and then allowed for centrifugation. By centrifugation, we can separate the filtrate and the filtrate and insoluble mass. The first culture medium, when it is subjected for centrifugation, the settled mass, that is pellet, which showed radioactivity, and supernatant is without radioactivity. Pellet mass contain DNA and DNA is radioactive in the first sample after centrifugation, while supernatant is having proteins without radioactivity. While centrifugation of second culture showed non-radioactive settled pellet where DNA are without radioactivity, and supernatant containing proteins showed radioactive sulfur. It indicates that injected molecule is DNA, which is with radioactive 32P, multiplied along with the bacterial DNA, and it is settled at the bottom. So with this experiment, they gave the proof that DNA can enter, multiply, can regulate all the activities. Why it is called transduction? Because the viral DNA is entering in the bacterial cell body, and along with bacterial DNA, it is multiplying. This is two different sources from where the DNA molecules are allowed to become recombine and replicate. This is how, with the three experiments, we can prove the genetic nature of DNA. First experiment, Griffith's experiment on Streptococcus pneumoniae. Transforming principle is DNA. It is proved by Avery, McLeod and McCarthy. And transduction experiment taking bacteriophage and E. coli proved by Hershey and Chess, for which they awarded Nobel Prize for this work. With this, I will conclude today's session. Thank you very much.